It's not a coincidence that Amazon is laying off 30,000 people and 14,000 people this week, right before there's no SNAP benefits next month. If you guys didn't remember, Jeff was at the inauguration with the rest of the billionaires who got 500 billion of your tax dollars to do AI and make America great with AI. And now they're laying off 30,000 people, 14,000 this week. And next month, there's no SNAP benefits. There's no unemployment. There might be unemployment. But you think that's a coincidence?
Let's talk about it, you guys. So what's really going on with all of these massive layoffs? Because it's not just Amazon. Just this past week, we also heard that UPS was also cutting thousands of jobs. And a lot of people are sitting back and wondering what's happening to America's workforce. And is this really what great again looks like? So, as she mentioned, here's what's happening at Amazon. From the reports that I read, the company is laying off around 14,000 corporate workers. And some outlets are saying that the number could climb up to 30,000 jobs. So these cuts are mostly hitting what appears to be just the corporate and tech divisions. And they're supposedly part of a larger plan to streamline the operations and shift focus to AI, automation, and cloud services. So you got a lot of employees who didn't see this coming. And Amazon has, from what we can tell, has always been known for growth, especially during the pandemic. They were hiring like crazy. But it turns out that all of this automation and artificial intelligence is definitely changing the game. And it's almost kind of scary because they're cutting back where humans can be replaced by tech.
Well, I'm part of the layoffs that Amazon announced this morning, so that's fun. Nothing like waking up to, we don't need you anymore in your inbox. So if anyone has any leads with an executive assistant, junior program manager, director of operations, business management, HR, really anything, because like most millennials, I went to school for ages, have a shit ton of debt, and can't seem to get anywhere in life, I would love to chat with you. Thank you.
I don't know who, but someone might be interested to know that how many hours? 53 hours since receiving a generic layoff email from Amazon. I still have zero additional information. Nothing about how my leave of absence interacts with the 90-day period, nothing about the start or end date of the 90-day period, nothing about the pay during the 90-day period, nothing about severance, nothing about anything. Nothing except the generic layoff email. So thanks, Amazon. Glad I gave you 8.5 years of service.
Now, sadly, it doesn't matter how long you've worked at a company. When they're ready to cut ties, they cut ties and they don't think twice about it. But just this past week, there were several other companies that announced layoffs, like General Motors. They're laying off employees. Paramount, UPS, which is probably one of the most stable, long-standing companies in America. They also announced thousands of layoffs earlier this year. And we're talking about, I think, 12,000 positions that they eliminated. And that's after they signed a historic contract with the Teamsters Union promising higher pay for their drivers. They stated that they're restructuring to cut costs and improve efficiency, which basically means technology, automation, and of course, this whole AI sorting system. So that's replacing a lot of jobs. And so I don't know. People are saying like, I gave years of service and now you're telling me that a robot or software can do it cheaper.
We are getting a master class in how to weaponize taxpayers' dollars against them. I pay more in taxes than Amazon does. They get a tax credit for all the employees that they have. Now they're laying off people when there's no SNAP right in front of the holidays. Okay? And they're going to lay off another $15,000, 15,000 next year. And you think that's a coincidence? When I tell you, whoever voted for this, we will never speak again. We will never speak again. We will never speak again. The only people that are benefiting are the billionaires.
All right. So listen, I just want to talk about what happens after the layoff, because now that you've got thousands of people that have lost their jobs, not just at Amazon and UPS, but we know thousands of government workers were laid off this year. Some people are now furloughed because of the government shutdown, and people are just losing jobs all across the country. And then on top of that, you've got SNAP benefits being reduced or cut altogether for thousands of people. So, what are people supposed to do when there are no jobs? I mean, there are some jobs out there, but you've got hundreds of people applying to one job. There's no assistance and no stability. So, if the American dream was supposed to be about opportunity, what do we call this new reality? Is America so-called great again, or are we watching it crumble from the inside out? And if you talk to some people, a lot of people will say that America has never been great, but that's a whole nother conversation. But one last question before we go. Tell me in the comments below, what happens when the system stops working for the people who build it? I always love to hear what you guys are thinking. Drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, thanks for watching.
Today, not necessarily baby related, but we're going to talk about it. So, as you guys have seen, Amazon did a lot of laying off this morning, and my team was affected by it. My manager literally went to go to work and got an email and said, yeah. So naturally, I'm thinking I'm next. Luckily, and all praises to Jesus, okay, that was not the case, but it definitely put some things in perspective. Obviously, just making sure that you have a backup and you have a backup for your backup, especially when you have kids. It hit me in another level this time before. Like, this time was this, yeah.